Good evening. You're watching Fiji Today on MyTV. I'm Nemani Turangavu. The Attorney General's office has sent extradition papers to Australia to extradite Ratu Tevita Mara, who has been declared a fugitive. The Permanent Secretary for Information, Sharon Smith-Jones, confirmed that the documents were delivered to and signed for at the Australian Attorney General's office at 8 a.m. yesterday. The government plans to file for Ratu Tevita's extradition in every country he visits. Extradition papers were sent to Australia last Friday.
The Attorney General's office sent extradition papers to Australia over the long weekend. They arrived on Tuesday morning for the extradition of Tevita Mara. So now we're following the process of the law by filing those papers and waiting for a reply back from Australia.
The Permanent Secretary for Information, Sharon Smith-Jones, says New Zealand's so-called smart sanctions against Fiji are ineffective and not very smart at all. Ms. Smith-Jones was referring to the New Zealand government's decision to offer visas to anyone who leaves the Fijian government as a reward. The New Zealand government has also issued a visa to Fijian fugitive Ratu Tevita Mara.
New Zealand shows a complete lack of diplomacy in this, offering this so-called reward. I would expect them to be engaging in serious dialogue as opposed to coming out with ridiculous policies like this. Their smart sanctions are certainly not working, and they're not very smart anymore if this is all they can come up with as a foreign policy towards Fiji.
Solidarity within the countries of the Melanesian Spearhead Group remains strong, and their commitment to Fiji's reforms is just. These are the words of the Permanent Secretary for Information, Sharon Smith-Jones, after it was confirmed that the Solomon Islands Prime Minister, Danny Phillips, said they will deny entry to Fijian fugitive Ratu Tevita Mara.
According to reports, Tevita Mara is planning to travel around the Pacific to campaign against the Fijian government. Mr. Phillip is quoted as saying that he could not afford to damage Solomon Islands' relationship with Fiji. Prime Minister Phillip is referring to the reconciliation ceremony that was hosted by the Solomon Islands last year over the chairmanship of the MSG. The Permanent Secretary for Information, Sharon Smith-Jones, says this is a show of solidarity from the Solomon Islands for Fiji's return to true democracy in 2014, which is the stance taken by the MSG.
That's right. The Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands, Mr. Danny Phillip, has said that they will not grant entry to Tevita Mara. He has also stated that, the Solomons have just made peace with Fiji through the MSG, so it shows the solidarity of the MSG and the island nations.
Prime Minister Phillip of the Solomon Islands said he will stick to his policy of embracing Fiji for some time.
After the break, government reiterates that Maneuver Reef is within Fiji's exclusive economic zone and the importance of biosecurity for Fiji.